Welcome to the Revere community in conjunction with the Revere Allied Veterans Council and the Revere Veterans Service. Today we have two special guests, icons in the city of Revere, Marie Giacobbe and Nick Giacobbe. Ladies first, we're going to start off with you, Marie. I believe you belong to the Historical Society.
I do, and the Historical Society is, as everyone knows, the museum of the city. We have artifacts depicting all things from the city. We've been very, very gracious in having, very thankful in having a Peter Macaulay connection, and we've actually been closed for the winter months on Saturdays, but starting the beginning of April, the first Saturday in April, we will be open from 1 to 4 every Saturday. And there is someone there, and if you'd like to have a tour, there's someone there to take you on the tour. We have many, many, many artifacts in the city. We have a good many Norman Gautreaux prints. We have Peter Macaulay books. There's just an array of items that are for sale, and they make beautiful gifts for any type of occasion. And so that's it. And we also meet on the third Thursday of every month, and our meetings begin at 6 o'clock. And everyone is welcome. We certainly are always looking for new members, and it's kind of a fun thing. It's going back to the city's roots. We have things from early Revere and many, many things that are really interesting to many people. There are so many people that come in and they'll see a picture and they'll say, oh, I remember that, or my father or my grandfather was a part of this. So it's really, it's something that will appeal to all ages. It's kind of a thing to bring history back to our children. We also are offering school tours, which if teachers are interested in taking their classes to tour the museum, they are welcome, and then someone will actually give them a guided tour. So that's part of the history of Revere.
Right, Marie, and would you please tell the people out there how to get to join the Revere Historical Society, the address, and how to go about joining?
Oh, actually, by just becoming a member is just come to a meeting on the third Thursday of every month. And as I said, we were closed for the winter, but we will be starting our meetings in March, and we will be having elections in March, and the third Thursday of every month, and you can welcome to come and become a member. And before I go on, I want to thank you, Morris, for inviting us to come on.
My pleasure.
It's kind of an exciting thing, but a little nerve-wracking thing, because not being accustomed to being in the public's eye to speak, it's a little scary.
You're doing an excellent job.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you again, Morris.
Would you give them the address with the historic?
And we are at 108 Beach Street. And that, as people who have lived in Revere remember, that's the old rectory from Immaculate Conception Church. And at one time, they were ready to tear the building down. Actually, they were probably right there with the
crane,
the bulldozers. And a group of people got together and they said, no, we can't let this happen. And so it was spared, and that's what it became, the Revere Society for Cultural and Historic Preservation, and that's what we are.
Thank you, Marie. And my second thing, I would like to personally thank you. We have an honor flight in the city of Revere where we'll take the veterans to Washington. And you gave me a list of a load of veterans when I asked you for, and they happened to pick 4 at the senior center. Could you tell me about the veterans that you know, that you the list that you gave me?
The only one I really recall is Frank Strecker. I remember him. I mean, he's a lovely, lovely gentleman, and his daughter is Agnes Strecker, who has the very great dance studio right here in Revere. But he is a love. He just turned 90 years old, and he just is a wonderful, wonderful man. One of the sweetest men I've met in a long time. He really, really is a darling man. And he plays bocce with us on Thursdays, and he's quite a bocce player. He's an incredible gentleman, and as I say, a true, true gentleman.
I believe your husband Nick also plays bocce on Thursday at the
Yes.
senior center, but we'll
Yes.
get to you later on that. Okay. Now, Maria, I want you to talk about your experience when you went to the Whalen School last Monday.
Oh, it was really, that was very, very interesting. These little kids, and I'm always amazed at what their knowledge is of, as I say, all of these computer things, all of these iPads, and not being computer literate, which is an awful thing to say at this point. However, they were chalking off and they say, well, I'm doing this with this, and I have this to work with, and they're amazing. And the questions they asked were so interesting. I had 3 little girls that were just a darling. They were really, really sweet. And they were enthralled. I think they were really kind of interested in what was going on. And they really, really made for a very, very exciting morning. They really was something. It's always a pleasure to work with children. I've worked with them for a long time, and it's always been my pleasure to work with children.
Marie, also you do a lot of things for the seniors at the senior center. I believe you brought a blanket.
I
in.
did.
We're
Going to leave the historical and the children for a minute. I have a blanket here that is being done on Thursday mornings. There are a group of very dedicated women who come together on Thursday morning, as I said, and they knit and they crochet. And they're putting together blankets that are to be used for the veterans. And also their latest project right now is they are all knitting caps, woolen caps, to be worn under the helmets to keep the soldiers warm. So they will be shipped out to the soldiers that are in the war front at this point, and they will be used for that. And we also, the center is also looking for, and we have always had many, many donations come into the center, but right now they're looking for dark colored yarn that will be used for these, we almost say helmet warmers, because it's very cold, and helmets are very, very cold. They're metal, and when that's on their heads, there's just no warmth there. So they need something to keep the warmth of their body in their ends. And what they're doing is this is what the project right now is.
I bought the Revere Senior Power newsletter, and on there they have the lunches that they give. I would like you to read off some of the lunches so these people could see what they're getting for $1.50.
Okay.
Especially
also, this is a great thing to pick up for all seniors. They're really all around the city. If you go into the City Hall, I believe they're in City Hall. If you happen to pass by the Senior Center, they're always in there. And many, many places have them available. But here's just a smattering of what they serve to lunch. I know everyone seems to like Thursday for some reason. I guess I better put my glasses on so that I can read it. That would kind of help to read the right item. Okay, we'll get back to our, let's try a typical Friday. Okay, we'll say Friday, March 22nd. They're going to have broccoli quiche, O'Brien potatoes, stewed tomatoes, wheat bread, pears, milk, coffee, or tea. Okay, let's go to a Tuesday, a typical Tuesday luncheon. All right, March 12th. Lasagna with meat sauce. That might appeal to a lot of people. With a tossed salad, with Italian dressing, French roll, chocolate pudding, and again, your beverage of choice. And those are kind of interesting luncheons. And as I said, just call the day before, make your reservation, and you will be put on a list.
Yep. I would like to add something else that was given to me before we came down here. These are the trips that you mentioned they make, and I was told to read off the list of trips that the seniors. So any of you people out there who are interested in taking a trip, please listen carefully. They have The Sound of Music, which would be from June 11th to June the 23rd. The Wizard of Oz from July 16th to July 28th. They have the show Cats from August 20th to September the 1st. They have La Cage de Folly, I can't speak French, so forgive me for that, from September the 24th to October the 6th. And they have Miss Sangon from November the 6th to November the 17th. And if you call Joe Picardi at the Revere Senior Center, 286-8156, she'll tell you how to get the tickets to go on the trip.
That's the music theater.
Right.
Are they going to take seniors to the music theater?
Yep.
Oh.
But you have to call Joe Picardi, who does the organization for this, organizes the trips. And if you call her, she'll set up the dates and let you know more information than I can give you right now.
Oh, and that's going to North Shore Beverly?
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's also a couple on here, which I don't know whether she's doing them or not. Concerts, Engelbert Humperdinck, the doo-wops, etc., and etc. Marie, I'd like to ask you a couple of more questions, if I may, as long as you're here. What type of activities do you yourself engage in? This were asked to me by seniors.
Okay, all right. Well, one of the things that I do, and this would be pertinent to seniors because it's at the senior center. On Tuesday mornings, they have a Zumba class, and I do take part in that, and it's on Tuesday morning at 11, and we're always looking for people to come. It's kind of exercise to music. It's fun, and it limbers up, gets your body moving, and you know, a body that doesn't move is going to sort of break down, so let's keep those bodies moving. And this is a great way to do it, and they also have other exercise activities on Monday and Tuesday, Mondays and Thursday, I believe. But this is the one that I partake in. And then I also bowl on Wednesday with the Senior Center. We have a bowling league that we have on Wednesday mornings, and we bowl in Lynn at the Lucky Strike Lanes on Buffum Street, which is right behind the post office in Lynn. And that's at 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings. And that's a fun league. And then I participate in bocce, which is also a senior center activity on Thursday. And Nick and myself, we sort of oversee that whole activity. And we have 10 teams of 4. And let me tell you, in the years that they have been doing bocce, everyone has become pretty proficient. And we have many, they're almost professionals. They're so good at playing bocce. So those are the activities that I participate in.
Thank you very much, Marie. And before we get with your husband, Nick, here, I'd like to mention just one thing. Nick, you being a Korean veteran, we have the Vietnam Wall coming here, you know, as of June 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. So I'm going to introduce you now. And before I do that, I would like to say that you are also the president of the Council of Elder Affairs at the Senior Center, which I work for you over there. Thank you for coming. You're also overseer at the Farmers Market, which you will expand on that. And you are a Korean veteran, but you are also a veteran of 55 years of marriage.
Correct.
So,
You're right.
so if you could just explain to the people exactly what the Council of Elder Affairs does.
Right.
And the president is Al Morelli, I believe.
Yeah, Al Morelli.
Right.
Correct.
Please go ahead, Nick.
Thank you very much. Yes, as president of the Elder Affairs, it's not the easiest job to have because it's difficult to decide on what to do for the elderly people. Only being 80 years old, I really don't know exactly what they need, but I know you have to supply something. So what we try to do is, as of right now, we do bowling, we do bocce, and the big thing right now is bocce. And it's only one day a week, and it's on a Thursday. And it's so much fun. They really enjoy it. And it isn't that difficult to do because it doesn't take that much strain or exercise or whatever on your body. So they can do it, and they enjoy it. And then we really have a wonderful dinner. Not only like a luncheon maybe at the senior center, but then we go out to a nice restaurant and have a nice dinner, you know, at the end of the program, usually in May or June. But I'd like to talk about 1954 when I graduated from Boston University with my master's degree. And being at that age, I had to go into the service. I had two choices. I could have joined the Army and stayed for 4 years as a second lieutenant. But I didn't want to do that. I decided to be drafted into the U.S. Army for 2 years. And as a result, after being, I would say, taken care of in New Jersey, and then being sent to Korea for over 16 months, I met some wonderful people, the young soldiers that were serving their time in Korea. And as a school teacher, I taught them many, many things. And not only did I teach them, they taught me, because they had so much to offer. Well, I guess you call them as non-officers. They put a lot of time into the United States Armed Forces, and they gave so much to the United States that it's hard to say how you can benefit somebody like this who gives almost, well, not their life, thank God, but of course a lot did. It was just wonderful being in Korea. While I was in Korea, I lived in a tent and had a M4 rifle with me at all times. And it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but you get used to it. And I enjoyed, like I say, over 16 months in Korea, and I met some wonderful people. While I was in Korea, I also traveled to Japan and China on my so-called off days, rest period. From there, I returned to the United States back in 1956, and excuse me, I was living with my family in actually Dedham, and even though I'm originally from the South End, they had moved out to Dedham, and I decided to go to dental school, Tufts Dental School. Well, things didn't go well. In May of 1956, excuse me, I'm sorry, yes, May of 1958, excuse me, in May of 1958, my mother died while I was still at Tufts. And in June of 1958, I married my wife Marie, 1958. But then in July of 1958, my dad died. And he died just from a broken heart from taking care of his wife, or my mother, for over 3 years. Well, I couldn't take it, so I gave up dental school and I went back into teaching. And from the Paul Revere School, where I had met my wife, I moved on to the Boston Public Schools. And I started at the Dearborn Public School in Roxbury. Met some wonderful people in Roxbury at the Dearborn School, and continued there. And then in maybe 6 or 8 years, I became an assistant principal at the elementary school in South Boston. Well, that was really something. It was a bad time. All kinds of things were going on in South Boston, and it was very difficult. And what happened was I lost my job as an assistant principal because I happened to be a white male, and many black people were looking for jobs, and you know, it was a difficult time for them, but they came in and took over a lot of our jobs. So I went back to teaching at East Boston High School for a number of years, maybe 3. And then I got my assistant principalship back in roughly 1984. Then I went to the, the name of the school is the John F. Kennedy Elementary School in Jamaica Plain. And that's where I spent my last 9 years in teaching, as an assistant principal. And I have to tell you, one of my first jobs as a assistant principal was to give out the class pictures. Well, in this particular school where I was, there were a lot of Spanish children. And I gave out all the pictures, went back into the office, and I'm no sooner going back into the office, and the first grade Spanish teacher is right behind me saying, "Mr. Giacobbe, look at this picture." So I looked at the picture, and believe it or not, there in the back row was little Jose, and he had his finger up.
He was learning how to count.
He wasn't counting.
Oh, okay.
But so his teacher was right behind me saying, "Mr. Giacobbe, what are you going to do about this?" Well, I knew it was the end of the day. I had to go back to her classroom. So I walked down to her classroom, opened her door, and there in the back of the room is little Jose sitting in the back of the room crying. He's already crying. I haven't gone near him. And I have to tell you this is many, many, many years ago. So you have to understand that. All right, so I go back to pick up Jose, put him on my lap, and give him a few little...
Couldn't do that today.
No, I couldn't.
You don't touch them.
Oh,
today.
my God.
Right.
But he was crying even more now. But his teacher, who was right behind me, is happy that I did something. So now I go back to the office. At the end of the day, the children go home. And I'm an early morning person. The very next day, I'm in the office early, and in comes Jose's mother and father. And I look at them, and they look at me. They could not thank me enough for what I had done. Today, I know I probably would have been in jail or someplace, I don't know, but they couldn't thank me enough for what I had done. And many, many years after that, Jose and I were the best of friends. And he went on to college, believe it or not. So, I don't know, things change, but you have to go with it.
That's a great
Yes.
story, Nick.
Thank you.
But I would like to do one thing.
Yes.
I'm a World War II veteran.
Yes.
You're a Korean veteran. I
Correct.
had no one from World War I to honor me, but
Right.
me as a World War II want to honor you and say thank you for your service
Oh,
for
you're
your country.
And
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart,
Thank
and
you.
to all the Vietnam veterans and all the veterans out
Right.
there. I would like you to speak about your oversee as the farmers market, exactly what it does and
right.
for the community.
Wow, it's unbelievable. Usually they don't start till a certain program is taken care of in June. And what is the name of that program? The
And actually, the Revere Beach Partnership
Yeah,
is
Revere,
part
right.
is part of the
right.
farmers
and
market.
you usually have it down the beach, too.
Yes, and
It
they
is, yeah.
it is. It's
Don't
down the
tell
beach.
them where you.
So we usually wait till that's over and then we start. But this year we plan on starting in June. And not only we're going to be starting in June, but we're going to be moving from the place where we used to be, right down by the big, what do they call that?
Bandstand.
By the big bandstand, the Rhinestein bandstand.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it used to be. Now it's going to be moving up, you know, where the new bridge that takes you over to the, right over to the.
By Wonderland?
Yeah, right at Wonderland Station.
Wonderland, right, from the
Right
Wonderland.
on the pavilion there.
The
Right.
Wonderland Station.
Yep.
Right, there's a new bridge that goes right over to the beach.
Yeah, I've
right,
seen them building it.
Yes, and oh my God, it's beautiful. And that's where we're going to have it. That's where it's going to be starting in June of this year. And some of the things that they have, it's not only fruit, vegetables, I mean, coffee, donuts, and hopefully a fish market, because that was a problem, to have all kinds of fish, like even lobster, shellfish. Although, talking about shellfish, the other day we walked down the beach. I never saw so many shells that were thrown up
From the ocean,
from the
from
storm.
the storm?
From
Yeah.
the storm. Oh my God, what a terrible thing to see. But you definitely have to go to the farmer's market on the beach. It's wonderful.
So I see a special lady just walked in. Eileen, please, come over here, please.
Up to you. How
Oh,
about
yeah. I
Oh,
love to
that's
have
even
you.
better,
That's
Eileen.
wonderful.
Go ahead,
Girl.
speak right in here
Hi.
and tell them what you are doing for the
Well,
seniors.
what I'm doing now is to collect money for a memorial for the women of World War II. In the city, there is no memorial for women. And so we want to have a memorial. We have it already picked out. We have a place where it's going to go on the Legion lawn. And all we have to do is get the money, and we have quite a bit now. So let's hope that you contribute so we can honor the women that served in World War II. We have a list of 146 names now.
Wow,
So we
congratulations.
had to,
Yes.
we had to go fish them out and find them wherever we could.
Yes.
And if you know of someone that was in World War II, some woman, and you're not sure whether I have the name, just call me at the center, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you.
Give them the number at the center.
I don't know the number.
The number is 781-286-8156, or they can come up and see you personally at
Absolutely.
25 Winthrop Avenue, Revere,
Right.
Eileen.
Now, did I cuddle up to you enough?
Yes, you did, Eileen. And I want to say one thing, Eileen. I'm going to do that, and you're going to hate me for it. But here's a beautiful lady, 88 years old, that goes around and does for the seniors. I'm
Yes.
85,
you.
and Nick is 82.
Yes,
Well,
right.
that
Thank
sounds
you.
like a math class.
I know that. Thank you for
Be-
coming and
be
stopping
careful.
by.
Thank you, Eileen, for
Thank
everything
you,
you
honey.
do.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you, honey.
I think we still have a few things we can discuss, Nick, that I would like to speak on the veterans' behalf, if that would be okay.
Can I
Absolutely.
interrupt you?
Please do.
Seeing you're talking about veterans, I forgot to probably tell you that I happen to have 6 brothers and 5 sisters, and I'm the baby. Now, 5 of these boys, including myself, were in the service. 1 was in the Marines, 1 in the Navy, and 3 in the Army. And the only thing I have to say is 3 have long gone, and 2 of us are left, and it happens to be 2 Army people that are still left. But they live to be 98 or 96. All my older brothers and sisters have a lot of, good age in them. So that's what I'm hoping to do, is continue on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Marv.
Marv.
Thank you so much, Marv.